Today at the Coffee and Records show, we have our first guest. Coming straight from Panama, she came to Berklee to fulfill her dream of becoming an artist. Now she has over 13,000 followers on Instagram, and she gained recognition around Boston for her innovative performances with her own string orchestra. She performed at venues such as the Rockwell and the Middle East, as well as shows for the Berklee Performance Center. Last spring, she had her own calf show, and today, we're going to be talking about her experience trying to make it as an artist, how she gained so many followers, and so much more. So please welcome Isa Rinkon. Isa, thank you so much for being here. You are our very first guest. I started this podcast a while ago, and I did the list a while ago. And you were one of the first people on the list. So Thank you so much.
Love you.
I wanted to talk a lot about your music and your performance because I've been through your shows and I had to say your performance is very unique. You have a very clear artist brand and very innovative things. So I want to ask you, what was your inspiration for your brand? Did it came naturally? Because I think pink, I think Isa. I think ribbons, I think Isa. There you go, the outfit. So was it something came naturally? Was it something that you really thought through?
I think I always had a vision for what I wanted to be before I even came here or started to actually try to pursue this career. I always had an idea, very vaguely, of what I wanted. But I always wanted the pinks and the ribbons and the flowers and, very, old Marie Antoinette kind of, vibe. Yeah. I just didn't know how to do it. And I think that's a huge problem because I feel like there's so many people who know exactly what they want, but you don't know how to, put it on you know what I mean? Actually physically do it. So I feel like in the last year or two I've been just researching so much and just seeing how other artists who are already big and doing things do it. And if you see the people who have the weirdest, most unique visions or brands are the people who are succeeding now because it's not just about music anymore. So I just obviously the music will always be the most important, but if you don't have something visual that people are that's weird and I want to know more about that, no one's gonna care about you, even if you're the best singer, have the best band, have the best songs. No one's gonna care. So I think that's where it came from. But I always kind of knew. It just was a lot of taking a lot of time to actually narrow it down and know exactly and know how to elevate it more as time goes by, I think.
Yeah. What would you say was an inspiration, apart from, you mentioned Marie Antoinette kind of stuff, but what is for example, pink? Is it because it's your favorite color?
Pink is my favorite color, but I've never been the one to wear pink.
Okay. That's
so I've always liked to wear more this, very not chill, but more street style-y things. So I feel like it's two different people. I
see.
feel it's a fake thing. Not fake, but it's Isa doing this, and then it's Isa normal. And I'm way more edgy and more I love blazers. I love ties. I love all that stuff for my everyday stuff. And then I wear this a pink dress with pink heels and the whole thing, and I just feel like a doll.
Yeah, elegant, but as well kind of and also that's something I want to ask you because you in your everyday life, you don't wear the stuff that you're wearing on stage. But I've seen you. I want to ask you because I've seen you in the streets wearing really cool stuff.
I love fashion. That's always been a thing in my life. I've always loved to dress up, and I would steal everyone's clothes when I was younger, and I'm obsessed with fashion. And I've always whenever I have the chance to I'll wear the weirdest, coolest outfit that I can think of, And like if people tell me they hate it, then that means that I like it more, because
Ooh.
it's like when I call my friends and I'm like, oh my god, look at my outfit, they're like, bro, what the hell are you wearing? Especially my friends from home. I'm like, oh my god, my outfit's so cool now.
Yeah.
But not not as exaggerated as I would on stage. I mean, on stage I'm trying to look like a pink doll baby thing, because it's very contrasting with the songs that I write. So that's kind of like where the idea mainly came from. Like, just how much can I contrast it?
That is true.
Instead of being like, I don't know if you see, not always, but sometimes if you see like really dark music, the artist visually looks very like emo and like black and like brown, or like more that style. And if it's someone doing really pop music and very happy stuff, it's like colors and rainbow and all this shit, but which is awesome. But I just wanted to like try to like contrast it as much as I could. So if it's like the darkest song ever, you're like wearing a pink little dress with like a bow on your head, and it's like, what?
I love it. Yeah, because people are like, wait, what's happening? And let's talk about your music, because you have your own string orchestra and you playing like pop rock songs. And I just think like that's just so innovative, and I wanted to ask you more about how that idea came to be. Like, did you came up with this one day just like out of the blue? And what led you to just be like, I want to have a string orchestra and sing rock songs?
So it didn't really start necessarily with like the live show idea. It started more as when I started writing songs and I started like thinking of production and just like how I wanted to sound sonically. I always loved orchestral music. I've always loved that, because it just brings like a different dimension, I feel, to songs. And so that's always what I wanted. And when I started recording in the studio and like starting to kind of create my project like outside of shows with like actual songs that I will release and like all these things, the strings were like the main component. So then I was like, what can I do that's like cool but like doable? And like, because when you're out, like I can do it very easily because I'm at school and everyone's willing. But if you're like working in New York and you want to get an orchestra, it's a lot of money. It's like not very, it's not very doable for like new artists who are trying to like start out, whatever. But I just wanted the show to look really different and like cool. And people normally have like 5-6 piece bands because it's rhythm sections, or people have, I don't know, woodwinds or like horns in their music because their music has that, so they like want to show it in the show and give that experience. So since my stuff had the orchestral element, I thought like, oh my god, imagine having 12 like people and like make it a whole thing and like me be in the middle, and so it looks like an actual orchestra, like you're at an actual like orchestral concert, which like obviously not, it's rock. But that's kind of where it came from. And the rock part, it's just, again, with my songs, I always wanted to mix rock with orchestras, but at the same time not make it like 100% rock. Does that make sense? Because that's like a whole different thing. So it's like just trying to make your own sound to the best of your ability and try to like sound as different as you can while still taking inspiration. And like, it's always still pop. It just has elements that make it weirder.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And that kind of like makes you really stand out from, I do think. And I mean, talking about like your own songs, and this was something I wanted to ask you. You are not just a performer, not just a singer, but you're also a songwriter, right? Right? But you don't have anything released yet.
No.
Are you planning on?
Yes. Of course. Basically, I started writing songs when I was like 12 or 13. I always wrote poems, but never like actual songs because I didn't play any instruments. But my brother is a classical pianist, so there's always been a piano in my house. And so I would always like try, but like, and I would beg him to teach me, but he never would. And so I eventually just like started learning off of YouTube, piano and guitar, like not pianist, but like no chords enough to be able to like write and do things. And I started to write songs, and then eventually a few years later when I was 16, through like a manager that I had at the time, he connected me to a producer who is my producer now. And then he, like, I signed a production deal with him when I was 17. Oh. Yeah, I'm 19. When I was 17.
Wait, but you learned how to play, you started playing, like, instruments and singing when you were 13?
I started singing. I've always sung, like, that's always been in my life. But I started taking lessons when I was maybe 12 because again, since my brother was always in music lessons, he also plays drums. So I would always go to like his shows, and when I would go, they'd be like, "Oh, do you want singing lessons?" I was like, "No, I'm too busy," because I did sports when I was younger. So I played soccer and I played flag, and I did gymnastics for like 10 years.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't have time. Yeah. I'm like such a sport person. And then I like caved one day, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I like dropped my sports and just focused on this singing stuff. But classes when I was 12, but piano and guitar when I was like 14. When it was COVID, I was like 14 or 15. I was just like bored. I'm like, okay. And then my grandma got my brother a guitar because they wanted him to learn a third instrument, and he never liked guitar. So I stole the guitar and I like learned guitar.
Wow, that's amazing. And then you met the producer that is now your producer.
Yeah. Okay. So I met Thom, and he signed me to his thing and whatever, and I got this thing, which was my biggest dream in the world. Like, it was the best day of my life. I went to LA to like meet him for the first time, and I was so scared, and it was me, my manager at the time, and my dad, and we went to a dinner to meet him. I was freaking out. I was like, he knows. In the car, like, I have videos on my Snapchat, like talking to my friends, like, I can't do this, like, I'm so scared, like, what if he's mean, like, what if he like, because all I've been told is like, is this guy who like we know through somebody else, he has 16 Grammys, he's like done all this stuff for all these like people that I love, like, we're gonna try and see if he likes you. And I'm like, bro, what? Like, he's not gonna like
try
me.
And see.
No. And we get there, and he's the nicest person I have ever met. And we went in the next day to the studio, and like I showed him more stuff because he'd obviously already heard stuff from what my manager sent him. And a year later we did it, and we've been recording it, and I've been working on it for 2.5 years, and it's almost done. Like, the first stuff is gonna be released this year. The thing is, I've always said I'm never releasing anything if I don't do it correctly. So I'm getting a team, and it's all behind the scenes stuff, but you need to have like a manager, a lawyer, possibly a label. You need to have an investor if you don't have a label and you're trying to do it in like a bigger scale. So it's like so many things. It's not just like be good at singing or like have a nice song or have a good producer. Like,
it's a whole structure.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's
like 1 billion songs released every day. Nobody cares about you. That's true.
Wow. So you've been writing one album, or is it multiple?
It's an EP. The first thing that's gonna come out, it's an EP. But so it's 6 songs. A 6-song EP. But I'm already doing my album. Yeah. That would come after it. So it's like same body of work, kind of, but like an expanded version, I guess.
I see.
You would say.
And you do you have a date? Or is it no? Okay. But coming soon.
End of the year.
Okay.
Like 100%. Something is going to come out at the end of the year. Not the full EP. The full EP's, I don't know dates, but like the start of next year. But the end of this year is going to be the first thing. Oh my God. But even if it takes me 4 years, guys, as long as I do it correctly, I don't care. Like, I don't want to throw my songs away. Because they're like my kids.
Oh my God. That is so sweet. Babies. But talking about your team that you said, do you have a team? And if so, like, what do they do? are they Berklee students, or do you have like a team outside?
No, it's outside.
It's outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, honestly, my like biggest manager to this point has been my dad, and he's like gotten me half of the things that I have through like, I don't know, him just like looking for people or like talking to people or contacts that he, you know, like just random people that he knows, and just starting to like build up little things. But right now I'm like in the moment of like deciding my manager, which is a huge deal because your manager is like gonna end up being your like best friend for the next few years, and they're gonna be your family, and they're gonna be right next to you every single minute, and like through the good things and the bad things. So it's really important to get somebody who is being fair to you, even if you're an independent like starting artist who's never released a single song. Like, your work is still valuable and you're still important, and you shouldn't be signing things just because you want I have a manager, I have a label deal. No. You have to do it correctly and like look out for yourself. And so my dad has been looking out for me.
Is your dad in the industry?
No, my dad sells perfumes.
Oh.
My dad knows nothing about music. He like has started to learn more as time has gone on, by like he wants to know more because he wants to protect me, obviously. But my dad's a businessman, and this is a business at the end of the day. So like, whenever we're always in meetings, and I'm always so embarrassed because I'm like, hi, like, it's so nice to meet you, whatever. And my dad's like, what are you gonna do to my daughter? Like, why are you gonna like, and he like will speak like that to these people. And like, I'm always like, Dad, you're being so mean, like, shut up. But like, no, because that's what you need. And
exactly,
you need somebody who's gonna like scare these people.
It's tough
because you're a little kid who like has this like dream and like all these things, but these people can promise you heaven and tell you everything, but it can all be a lie, and you can be taken advantage of and taken your life stolen from you in like a second. And it sounds dramatic, but it's not dramatic. I mean, every single successful singer who's like famous now talks about their early days, and they're like, it was just me in a room with like a bunch of old men telling me what to do, and you just have to be like, yes, because they're giving you the money. And that's not how it should be. So he's just really been great at it, but that's how we've been. So like, right now I'm in the process of deciding all the people. I like have all the things, I'm just like deciding it, and it's the worst, like it's the most stressful part, I think, because I'm just like scared to make a bad decision. But I trust God, whatever is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I don't know.
Totally. And like, because you have your band here at Berklee, right? And then you have all the rest of your team
outside.
It's outside. And you have like, you're trying to get a manager, and do you have anyone else? Like, oh, wait, you said you were signed.
No,
you're not signed. Okay.
No.
So, and then you have anyone else apart from like, the producer?
No.
Like outside. Okay, I see.
Yeah. I mean, I've the thing is, I've had lawyers. Like, I had a lawyer for a while. It's just I don't need them right now. Like, when I start signing things, that's when you need them. But like, and the manager I had him for like 7, 8 months for a long time, and he was great. But at the end, we just decided to not sign for like contract reasons and whatever. But
having a manager, been there, done that. Let's talk about your shows and like the planning of your show. So you did a calf show this spring. And I just wanted to talk more about how was it, like the planning of the shows, and how it goes for all of those emerging artists out there, performing at local venues or just like performing even at Berklee. Like, how does it feel to have all the like pressure of, this is your show, you have a date, like, do it now?
So the planning was very stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was 17 people in my band, plus features, plus dancers, plus say everything to the production team the way you're meant to, plus how am I gonna get these strings to sound the best as I can, and how am I gonna like, who's gonna arrange all my stuff, who's gonna be my MD, who's gonna, music director is an MD, who's gonna am I gonna program the like there's so many things that go into doing shows. It's not just and then get 17 people into a room at the same time with everyone's really busy schedules, because like I think a really important thing that artists have to remember is that like your guitarist, like his only job isn't you. Like they have their own thing, they have their own life going on, they have millions of other shows. Like everyone's trying to make it. It's not like nobody's just like gonna be like bowing down to you and like, oh, I want my rehearsal to be at 8, and then everyone's like, yes. No, you need to be very accommodating and like just try to organize it. And that's the hard part, because like it is really hard to organize stuff in that sense. But it was like first getting the MD, then getting all the arrangements for all the songs, because since it's strings, it has to be written, like it has to be scores. So like do all that, then send all the arrangements to all the players for them to learn it beforehand, so that when you come to rehearsal, it's not learning, it's more rehearsing. But not every time people are gonna do that, because they have other things. So then it like takes way longer than you ever expected. Then one day somebody can't play in your show anymore, and what do? Or like someone's sick and they can't do it. Like there's so many things that go wrong all the time. But I think it's more of like how you kind of fix it and like try to like go, just like not stress yourself out so much. I feel like you stress so much, but then at the end the show's still great, and like obviously there's mistakes, obviously things could have been better every time. But the good thing is that people in the audience don't know what's supposed to happen. So if something doesn't go 100% correctly, they don't know. Only you know, and then you'll beat yourself up after. But like it's not it's fine.
It's kind of like, you know, things, you can't control everything. You can't control people. So I think it's, you know, how to like solve the problems.
And I think it's important to get people who genuinely like love your project, and they aren't doing it like as a favor or like as a joke, because you care about it so much. It's like your kid, but to them it's not. It's like another one out of their 10 bands that they're in, or their 10 shows that they have, or whatever. So like just trying to get people who actually care is very important, because I've heard so many stories of friends and people who have had these like important shows, or like anything, like a recording for their new song, and then the guitarist is like, you know what, I'm really tired, I can't go. And then like what do you do?
It's like you need to find people that are committed.
Yeah.
Would you recommend, because it's something I thought about, would you recommend like signing contract, like having an actual contract, like, you know, having people sign a thing saying you can't do that?
I mean, low-key, yeah. I think I'm just too scared to do that and like send people, like, because I'm just like, that's a me problem, you know? Like if you are like strong enough to do that, 100% send a send a contract saying you can't like drop out, because what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you're dropping out like a week before the show? No.
And you have to find it. Or if like the contract could state like, oh, if you decide to drop out, you should
you have to give me a sub who knows all the music, so that I don't need to take on another responsibility of fixing everything else. Because no, like we're all supposedly professional musicians, so like toughen up. Like obviously everyone, I have a problem or I have anything, but like figure it out. Because if you're committed to something, it's okay if you can't do it, just say you can't at the start, so that by the end of the thing it's all good,
everything's fine.
It's not like, you know.
That is a really good piece of advice, I'd say.
That's my thought. I probably will do. I mean, contracts 100% when you're making money.
Yeah.
If it's like showcases and you're not, you still should. As a like, because please don't drop out of my show, please.
It's your name out there. It's you on stage. Like you have this responsibility, you know.
Exactly.
So
because if somebody sounds bad, then it's Isa's show sounded bad because, or Isa's, I don't know. violist sounded like shit, and then it's like, oh, but it's like it's not the person, it falls on you, which is like, because if it sounds good, they're also gonna say it's you, so then that's good. Try to make it not sound bad, but
exactly,
you know.
Yeah, and like talking about, because you have your own shows, and then you also performed at other shows like from Berklee. So I did, it's because when I'm like researching, I really do like some serious stalking on things. So I was like, okay, and I saw that you performed at shows at the BBC. I saw you performed at the Gospel Extravaganza and the Fleetwood Mac Ensemble, which I couldn't go because it was sold out. I just want to ask you, how would you like define your experience, or like compare and contrast between having an appearance at other people's shows, or not other people's, but like other ensembles, in your own show? Like, do you feel like it's more pressure, less pressure, and how do you go about that?
It's more pressure because being in other people's shows, because for my show, I know I've worked really hard, and like I'm prideful in it, and like I know that my band and whatever we do, like we're gonna do it the best we can, and like at the end of the day, that's my own responsibility. But like being in other people's shows, like you have to be at a standard where there's no option to make a mistake, or there's no option to do something incorrectly, as it would be. I mean, hopefully you wouldn't do it in your own show either, but it's like you are responsible for a task that they're giving you. There's like billions of singers in this school. They could choose anybody, and they chose to choose you, and they chose to give you that like place and that responsibility, so you can't let them down. You can't say you don't want to go to rehearsal. You can't cancel the rehearsal because it's their time, and they're giving you the honor to participate in their thing. So with what, like, how are you gonna be like, no, I can't, my stomach hurts, I can't go to rehearsal today, poop and go, you know? Like you know what I mean? It's
poop
like,
and go.
no, you
I'm sorry.
Bro.
Like,
you know what I mean. It's like it's crucial to be very professional, and like these professors who run those shows, they're like legends of the school, and like people who have been doing the biggest shows forever. So like you just being there is an honor, and like how are you gonna disrespect them in that way? No.
So it's a lot of pressure, and like being in these rehearsals, like, would you say it takes a lot of your time, right?
Yeah.
Apart from your stuff that you're doing, apart from school.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of pressure falling on you, and all of this for this kind of like still passion and desire of, but I want to do this. Like, I want to do this for the rest of my life, right? What are some mechanisms that you use to deal with all of this pressure?
Okay. Yeah. One thing about me is before I didn't deal with it correctly. Like, I would not sleep. I would not take care of myself in any way, because to me that was all that mattered. But it's not all that matters, because if you don't function, how are you going to give? Like, if you can't give to yourself, how are you going to give to other people? So, my biggest thing, when I have a lot of rehearsals, when I have a lot of stuff to do, and I just have a lot of things to manage, because it's not just that. It's like, yes, rehearse for them and for you, school, whatever, your own artist project outside of Berklee, but then call your brother, call your grandma, be a good friend, be present, be like, work out, go to church. In what moment are you meant to do all these things? Like, it's just not possible. It's not possible. So I think what I do to stay like sane is I try to keep as much of a routine as I can, and just like when I can wake up earlier, or like go to spinning and like make it a routine, for example, or like people who go to Pilates, whatever, just like have something that you do every day no matter what. And then time management is very important. Like, if you're at a really long rehearsal, take your homework and do it while somebody else is singing, so that when you get home you can sleep and you don't have to stay 3 more hours doing homework. Or wake up earlier and do your homework if you know in the afternoon you're not going to be able to. Or, I don't know, let your friends know if you're not going to be able to be present for a second because of something. Don't just like ghost people when you like have a lot of things to do, because that's not okay either. Or journal. Oh my God, that's so important to me. Like, I journal so much, and go to therapy.
Yeah.
That's very important. Even if you don't have anything bad going on, like, it doesn't matter. You just need to like have some sort of outlet to like let it out, because it just becomes like this little ball in your chest and you're just like, you can't. But the biggest thing for me and the thing that keeps me sane is God. Like, out of everything else. So I just like trust him, and if I'm stressed, I just know that there's nothing to be stressed about, because he's gonna figure it out. And like, you're like, how blessed are you to be stressed about the thing you dreamed for so long? I don't know if I said that right. I don't know how to speak English,
I know what you mean.
What an honor to be tired from like working all day because you're trying to get to your dream. You know, it's like, you don't think about it in the moment, but it's very important. So I just sit down and I read my little Bible, and then I go to church and I do the things to just kind of help me chill, because it's all like this. It's like, es muy fast paced. It's so fast paced. It's so da 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 da, and then go to here and the meeting and the friend. No, you just need to like chill.
Yeah, and I can speak for myself. Like, I just found myself this last semesters just like being so fast paced, so in my head, I don't have the time to hold an actual conversation with a person in the street.
Literal.
Like, I'm always like, oh, hi, well, but I have to go.
I can't go. I have class, never rehearsed.
Like, and that shouldn't be like that. You know, I used to like stop whenever I see someone in the street, have a conversation, have like a genuine conversation, you know, like, you know, ask them about something, what's going on in their lives, just remember little things, you know, and all that stuff.
100%.
It's just like, I can't, like, it was just so much going in my life. I just, you know, I can relate, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people in Berklee can relate, because Berklee students,
everyone burns out, bro.
Everyone.
By midterms, you already see people being like I can't do this, and again, then it gets to finals week, and you genuinely like, because it's been 3 months of nonstop.
You don't stop.
So you don't stop, and you burn out, and like, this is us in college. Hello, imagine when we're working in New York or LA or wherever people end up going after school and like actually pursuing music. Do you think those singers who are singing in the festivals sleep? No. Absolutely not.
Neither the people organizing the festivals.
If you even less. Like you genuinely like low-key don't have a life outside of that if you don't try really, really hard to. And that's why people in the industry always have so many problems with like so many different things, because it's like, if you don't look out for yourself and you're like in a record deal, for example, they will make you work until you like die. And sorry, but all the biggest legends have died because of similar things. So like, we don't want that.
There's zero like ethics.
Zero. You could be like, I saw a singer who I really love say that she was miscarrying a kid, and they made her play the show because it was a really good opportunity.
What?
That's just one of, like, that's what it is. We can't change it. That's the thing. We can't change it. It's more of like, how are you like
coping with the system?
Coping with it. So like, you need to find your thing that helps you stay sane. For me, it's God. For other people, it may be something else. I don't know, working out or like whatever it is, but something, and like some sort of like normalcy.
Yeah.
In the sense of it all, especially when you're out there trying to actually do it, like speaking to your brother every day, like making an effort to like call your somebody or like talk to your friends from back home or people who don't have anything to do with music, so that it's like you remember that it's like you you're not just like the girl who like sings and like,
because music becomes you become consumed by the music. That you are music.
You become your project. You become who you are, because it's all you do. It's all you think about. Is you sleep at night and you think of it, and you wake up and you're like, fuck, I have to do this other thing, and then you do. It's so much that you forget who you are. Like, who's Ale?
Yeah,
so she's the manager of the no, you're like, you're from wherever, you do this and that, and your friends from home. It's like, it's very important to like,
I find it with like, little like things and objects, and like the reason why I named this the coffee and records. Like, yeah, I like coffee, but like for me, coffee is my connection to my mom.
Boom.
And that, for like, and people are like, oh, it's because I'm a morning person. I woke up early, and they're like, oh, but why do you wake up early and have breakfast? And I like it because it's like, it reminds me of my mom and the times that I like spend with her during breakfast, having coffee. So you need to find your thing that
is
grounds
what defines you.
Yeah.
Like your life before this, like your mom or whoever it is, you're not defined by being the best manager, the best businesswoman, the best podcast person, the best whatever it is that you end up doing with your life. And it doesn't define me to be a singer or to be the girl who wears pink and like goes crazy on no. It's
because like, you also want to be remembered by being a good person.
Yeah.
Like caring and just being present and being there for others. And sometimes it gets really hard to do that when you're just like consumed.
I want to be a good friend and a good sister. If I can be a good singer on top of that, great.
Exactly.
If not,
no, yeah, totally. I don't care. Have you ever like regretted or started doubting your career decision because of this?
Yeah, of course. I think everyone has.
Everyone at this point.
If you're at this school or just anybody trying to be an artist and you say that you've never doubted it, like, either you're lying or you're crazy, because it's impossible. I mean, first, like, from the second you start saying, I want to be a singer, they're like, but what's your plan B?
Yeah, what if it doesn't work out?
What if it doesn't work out? What if, whatever, 90% of parents never, like, half of the kids here, they're like, oh, my grandpa's paying for my school because my parents wanted me to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Or my parents wanted me to be a lawyer. Or, I don't know. Or from the first second that you start to like say this dream out loud, people are already telling you all the things that could go wrong. But if you say, oh, I want to start a business, oh my god, yes, that's awesome. Like, but this is a business. It's just different, but it is a business. And it's a business that makes way more than your little something else. If it becomes
it is true,
you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, when I started saying all this stuff, I honestly had very little people. Like, I've had maybe 3 people until now tell me, like, maybe, like, you should do something else. Like, maybe it's not going to work. And it's just, like, conservative old people.
Yeah.
But, like, my dad has always been like, yes. My parents, everyone in my family has been like, yes. Like,
just do it.
You say, like, you figure it out. Like, you'll figure it out. And the thing is, yes, maybe it'll take me 10 years. Maybe it'll take me 24. Maybe it'll take me 2. You don't know. But, like, if you work enough for it, you're going to get it. And you're going to rethink it 100 times and be like, oh, my God, should I be studying something else? What if, like, I need money to live? What if? So many what ifs. But if you're crazy enough, genuinely, you can do it. Even if you're, like, working at Dunkin' Donuts for 5 years in LA trying to pay for your next record, or like knocking on everyone's door trying to get opportunities, it doesn't matter. But I genuinely believe that if you are too focused thinking of your plan B, your plan A will never work out. So you need to like stay focused, and obviously like it's not about being ¿cómo se dice? Not realistic, irrealistic. It's about
unrealistic.
It's not about being unrealistic. Like, obviously, I get that, like, it's genuinely really, really hard, and it's a not great industry, and, like, whatever you want. But, like, I don't know, take business classes, be a business something person while you try to pursue it, or if it really doesn't work out, we're graduating at like 22, 23. I'm graduating at 21. If I don't like it and I don't make it, then I'll study business somewhere else, or like I'll be a lawyer, or like whatever you want me to be. But like, you don't have to know now.
Exactly.
If you try and it doesn't work out, okay. But if you don't try and you're 45 with kids and you're like, oh my god, what if?
Exactly.
Imagínate,
What
no,
if?
no, no,
what if I pursued music? Like,
hell no. Not me.
Yeah. So
Not me.
that is pretty much like, that is a really good piece of advice, I'd say. Just focus on what you want to do now, today. 'Cause the future, you never know what's going to happen in the future. What do you want now?
And trust your gut. Because people can say whatever they want. But
Yeah.
if you know deep in your soul that you're meant to be doing this, and that there's a bigger purpose for why you want people to listen to your music, and it's not just, oh, I want to be famous, oh, I want to sing in the biggest stage, or oh, I want to, I don't know, whatever, I want money. No. If it's from like, if it's a sole purpose and you're writing your songs for a reason, and you feel like there's specific people who need to listen to it because maybe you needed to listen to it at some point and you didn't have it, that's all you need to know. And they'll tell you no 100 times, but when someone tells you yes, you'll be the biggest star in the world, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
trust yourself. Even if everyone's telling you the opposite is very important.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. I am so happy that you were my first interview.
Damn.
I am really happy, and I'm so grateful for having you here. So thank you.
Love you. Hearts.
Bye.
Ciao.